If you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to become part of this community. Alright, big news for all the Trippie Redd fans out there because we just got a major announcement in the rollout process for his new album, Trip at Night. I'm talking about the track list. He released it. We can see all the tracks, the amount of tracks, the features, the titles of all of them. So let's jump straight into it. Let's talk about this. We're going to go through it from top to bottom, and I'm going to give my thoughts on every one of these tracks, of the features, of the length of the LP, and when this whole thing is going to release, because that is obviously the pressing question that we are all waiting for. So let's jump straight into this. So he already announced Trip at Night a while back, and he said that we needed like a certain amount of comments or reposts or likes. He did it on both Instagram and Twitter to get the track list. We reached that threshold pretty quickly. We reached it within like 2 to 3 days, but then now it took him over like 3 weeks to announce this thing. I think even over a month at this point. You know, there's been a lot of memes going on. He himself did one really funny thing that I gotta, shout out here real quick. Trippie Redd, he recreated the Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial cover from Roddy Ricch, featured like a, black on white version of his face and his upper body with the title Please Excuse Me for Not Dropping the Track List. I thought that was quite funny. So he took this whole thing in a very humorous way, and of course the fans did as well. But of course at some point we wanted that track list, and we finally got it just a couple of hours ago. Now he's also already announced a new tour, the Trip at Night tour, which is gonna tour the album. This tour is starting on August 25th in Minneapolis, so he's got to drop the album before August 25th. And if you're looking at the calendar, August 25th is a Wednesday, and there are only 2 Fridays still before that week, and that will be tomorrow on the 13th or next week on the 20th. So he's got to drop it on either one of these dates. I'm gonna get into the release at the end of the video again, but let's talk about this track list first, because that's obviously what everybody is here for. So we can see this art is going to be the back of the album. Obviously it's the same kind of very trippy style that the album cover was already in. We can see like a soldier or like a knight with his skull just detached from it, and out of the skull like a brain shaped bubble is coming out where all the tracks are listed, which looks really trippy. But that's the whole the whole vibe of it, the whole aesthetic that we've already seen with the cover art. So there are 18 tracks, which is a lot in a way. I think, every album that has more than 15 tracks I would consider as a lot of tracks. But it's still okay. It's still in like the realm of, I wouldn't say it's flooding the market specifically, because that would be like 20 plus track albums. So I'm pretty okay with 18 tracks as of, length of this record. The first track is named Molly Hard. Probably going to be some, track alluding to the drug or something. Then we have MP5 with So Fake. I can see this happen actually. I'm pretty excited for that feature. Then number 3 is what everybody is talking about, Betrayal featuring Drake. These two have never collabed in the past, and if anything, I thought that Drake would have a Trippie Redd feature before Trippie would have a Drake feature. So this is really big, and this is like the big thing that everybody's talking about. In general, the features are what everyone's really excited about, but we're gonna, talk about these as we move through this thing. The Drake feature, I don't know what to expect from this. I don't know what type of instrumental they'll be rapping on. I don't know what type of vibe the song Betrayal will be. We'll just have to wait and see, but this is something that I'm also very excited for. So shout out Trippie for getting that Drake feature on here. Next up is Finish Line. Then we have Holy Smokes with Uzi, which I wasn't that much of a fan of. I thought the instrumental was very skeletal. It was very bland. I didn't like the way that their voices interacted with it, but I already dropped a whole video about that, so y'all can go watch that. Then we have Supercell. Then Miss the Rage with Cardi. We already heard that single. I'm a big fan of that, primarily because of the instrumental, as you would expect. Then we have Supernatural, then Demon Time with Ski Mask, which is going to be very exciting. I think the both of them can really, have some type of synergy and chemistry when they're on the track together. And then we have Matt Hardy, 999, featuring Juice WRLD. This is a track that has been leaked in the past. I know a lot of you guys have already heard this, heard the leaks. Y'all were very excited in the Discord talking about this track, so I can only expect positive things from this. A Juice WRLD feature at this point is of course very debatable in what way that is like milking his legacy, but considering that this track has been around for a very long time, I think that this is actually something that, you know, is not just a Juice WRLD that they took from some recording and then put on this song. This is a song that the two of them actually did together, so shout out for Trippie for putting this fan favorite on this record. Now track 11 is Vibes, then New Money, then track 13 is Danny Phantom with Xxx Tentacion. Now, I would have never thought that in 2021 we would still see an X feature on a record, but in a lot of ways this makes sense. Trippie Redd and X have collaborated in the past, of course, on Ev Love, for example, most famously. I wouldn't have thought that Trippie would have put him on here. He had, you know, since X passed away, there were a lot of opportunities where he could have used that feature. I'm not sure if this is a track that they've already recorded or if this is, you know, just an X verse put on there. Really not sure, but it's on there. We just have to wait and see what that's gonna be like. I'm not too, you know, excited for this because X features have, you know, just been downhill ever since a certain point past his passing, so I'm not really sure what to expect of that, but it's there. Then Spacetime, Baki, iPhone, then Right MF featuring Lil Durk and Polo G. That's a combination that I see a lot of people gravitate towards, Durkio and Polo, so we can probably already predict what we can expect from this track. Gonna be like some either piano or string guitar beat, then there's rapping over it. And the last track is Cap'n Crunch with Babyface Ray, Seda Baby, and I Swear Vezo. So I Swear Vezo I've never heard of before, so I'm looking forward to discovering what he's about. But of course, Cap'n Crunch is a funny ending to this whole thing, and I'm excited for this. Now let's talk about the release date real quick. I touched on that earlier. The release date can only be two possible dates because he plans to tour this thing starting from the 25th, and until then we only have tomorrow, the 13th, which I don't think he'd drop because that would be a very surprise drop. Maybe he'll announce it later on today. It'd be like, yo, by the way, in a couple of hours, Trip at Night is dropping. I don't think that's what he's going to do. I think it will drop on the 20th. That is like the pretty sure prediction that we can make, very well educated. So Trip at Night is probably dropping on the 20th. I'll still making new videos on this, updating y'all whenever we learn more about this album, so make sure to stay subscribed if you want to stay up to date with all Trippie Redd related stuff. So that's the track list. That's my thoughts on this. Now I want to know what you think about this. What do you think of this track list? What do you think about the features? The Drake feature, the Juice feature, the X feature. Really interesting combinations of people combined on this record. What do you think about the length of the LP? What do you think about the different titles of the tracks? What can you already tell from the titles? And what do you think this whole thing is going to be like? Let me know in the comments down below. If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media and blog down in the description. It really helps me out. Until the next one, y'all have an incredible day, and y'all take care.